Thank you. Thank you for the presentation and thank you for the opportunity to be in Copenhagen another time. Well, Copenhagen, one of the most sustainable cities in the world. I will present now the work program Architecture for a Sustainable Future. Well, the UIA work program Architecture for a Sustainable Future is a work program of the United International Architects. This organization has 124 members worldwide and, well, association, national chambers of architects, and 1,300,000 members, architects. This is the UIA structure. So the UIA is organized in regions. The region 1, well, Western Europe. The region 2, Eastern Europe and Middle East. The Americas, Asia and Oceania, and Africa. Well, we have the president, Antonio Riverso, of region 1, Western Europe. This, well, Western Europe and Eastern Europe, it's a product of the Cold War. It's a legacy of the Cold War. It's a little bit strange, but we have the two different regions. Well, the region 1 represents 18 countries. Germany, Andorra, Austria, Belgium, and so on. Denmark too. Who we are? Well, we have some active members and, well, 415 members on Facebook. Just a shortly overview about the members. And this is our presence on the internet. Architecture for a Responsible Future and the difference in 5 different regions. Our objectives, and well, after this little shortly introduction about our work program, I will introduce you to the goals that we have, what we are doing, our strategies. Well, strategies for the climate change mitigation. What's that? Well, we have one mission. I think the mission that we have is to save the planet, because the situation is very difficult. And what we are doing is to try to sensibilize about the topics, the architects about the topics of climate optimized design, and to reconcile technology and building culture to think of efficiency, performance, and design as a whole. We produced our, well, this is something like our Bible, the 8 commandments, the 8 principles of climate optimized design, and they are resource efficiency, recycling and reuse, renaturalization and revitalization strategies, renewable energies and materials, vernacular architecture, multifunctionality and flexibility, public urban spaces and accessibility, low-cost and affordable housing. How we try to achieve these goals? Through actions. For example, the COPs. The COPs are, well, you know, because the COP15 was in Copenhagen, the Conference of the Parties International Climate Change Summit of the United Nations. Well, we organize the presence of the architects by the COPs to gain a wide public, to sensibilize media and society, and to explain the role of architects in relation to mitigation and climate change. Our focuses are energy consumptions and reduction of CO2 emissions. We do it through, well, our communication strategies is articulated in symposia, workshops, exhibitions, competitions, videos, and interviews. For example, by the COP15 in Copenhagen 2009, well, you know it. In this school, it was a great collaboration with the VELUX. We organized a symposia, I think. Yes, your peer is on the picture. A workshop with the students. And, well, their competition, our ceremony, the woman in red is the immediately past president of the UIA. And, well, we produced a lot of videos and interviews. They are in the internet to see on our internet site. Well, with a lot of specialists, for example, Jan Gehl. What has been achieved? Well, the 8 points of our, well, 8 commandments, they are adopted by the strategy Sustainable by Design in the Copenhagen, what we call Copenhagen Declaration. And we have produced an online library. This is another cooperation with the VELUX, a database of best practice, different projects from all over the world, projects and videos, open source for architects. This is the address, please note down. And I show you, well, this is our internet presence, the database. We have a lot of projects in this library from all over the world, organized in continents and regions, well, after the structure of the UIA. We have a lot of projects, they are detailed, we have a lot of information, and the sources are directly from the planner. Well, another important action is to organize the World Congress of the UIA. The World Congress of the UIA, we organize the Congress every 3 years. The last time was in Tokyo, and we made it there an exposition, Sustainable by Design. It was another cooperation with VELUX. Well, the guy in the middle is Wan Shu. Wan Shu was the last Pritzker Prize. Well, the most important architects in 2012. Well, just the family photos in the booth organized with the VELUX. Another action was the conference Urban Regeneration at the United Nations World Conference Sustainable Development Rios +20 in Rio de Janeiro 2012. The topic of our conference was urban regeneration. And the case study was, well, the policy and the infrastructure of the relationship between the investment of the government and the results in the slums. Well, the problem of the slums in Brazilian is very, very important. They have the favelas, and this one is not, but it's something different. This is the slum in Kibera in Nairobi, where we was during the UN Habitat meeting. Well, this is the condition. of Kibera, of this slum in Nairobi, why we are facing this problem and what has to be improved. Well, how could architects, designers and engineers influence the situation effectively? We are only responsible as architects for 2% of buildings, but buildings are responsible for 40% of all emissions. To focus on topics which can have a wider audience and bigger effects, that's what we can do. For example, the topic slum, informal settlements. Well, we can try with this strategy to maximize our impact, because 2013, 2 billion of people will live in pseudo-cities which have to be infrastructure. Another strategy is the densification. City population are set to explode. According to the UN 2013, the global urban population will climb drastically over the next decades. Well, 2011 set 6 million people, 2015 9 billion people. And now I will introduce you very shortly what we are preparing for the next Congress in Durban, for the next International Worldwide Congress of the UIA in South Africa. Well, this is a picture about, a picture of London 215 years ago. Portrait that shown the situation during the first industrial revolution. Well, I think we will have this situation in 10 years. Well, 2013 we will have this situation everywhere. We have to, our intention for Durban is to focus the two aspects, sustainability and social equality. And we will do it through a lot of strategies. For example, densify the city, make it equal. Because the background, some other information about this situation, this incredible situation, we will have 2030, 2 billion new city residents. 60% of the world's population will live in cities. Each week, 1 billion newborn and immigrants will be added in the world's urban population. Well, in slums, aka favelas, barrios, shanty towns. Well, what we can do? Because these problems have a consequence naturally for the climate change, because cities are the main cause of climate change. Worldwide, more than 80% of economic activities are carried out in urban areas. They are responsible for nearly 90% of the green gas emissions. This is the situation in Africa, the population distribution in Africa. The slum population in urban Africa. Well, in Africa will play an important role in the future of our planet. This is the urban growth rate in Africa. You can see, for example, Abuja. That's incredible what's happened. If we continue with business as usual, every second city dweller will live in slum in 2015. We will have water shortage, social conflicts, waste everywhere, an absolutely unsustainable increase of emissions. And we are speaking in Europe as architects about 2% of building. Well, we are responsible in Europe just for 2% of the buildings. But we have, for example, in Africa, but Africa is just an example, this situation. We have we have to absolutely, it's necessary to maximize our impact. 4 questions. What are the limits of functioning city? How can we prevent cities to become monsters, suffocating their own waste and their own excess fumes? How can we supply several million people in the same place with water and energy? How can we manage traffic and transport? And how we can create spaces allowing a decent life together and a good quality of life? What we can do? Well, a strategy, our proposal for Durban is an analysis about our experience as European architects and city planners. We have to focus strategies, to face strategies to control the urbanization in the 20th century. For example, we produced during the last century sprawl, like this. But sprawl have a lot of consequence, land use, negative consequence, land use, strengthening of private mobility, more asphalt, more emissions, complex and expensive supply. We produce, new towns as other strategy, the Trabantenstädte, Ville Nouvelle, this one. But the consequence, the negative consequence are social segregation and commuting. The subject of our study is the alternative strategy of densification, this one. And the goals are social mix, recycling, reuse as much as possible, also of the city, energy saving, reducing the private mobility, rethinking the public space. The keywords are densification, refurbishment, reuse, retrofitting. How we want to discuss about urbanization and I introduce you the structure of our project for Durban as a work program for Region 1. We will organize a competition, we will organize an exhibition with different case studies about Durban, about cities from all over the world. We will try to involve citizens of the city, artists, children, and organize workshops. And we will organize also a laboratory of immediate architectural intervention. This is Durban, and the Durban street is where's the pointer? Well, this one, I think. Where we will organize our exhibition. This is the Congress, and this is the street. Well, the UIA Congress will be held in this Congress Center, and we will be also there. Just a picture of Durban. And the last but not least topic that we are facing now, mainly in Europe, is retrofitting. The topic is about energy efficiency of existing buildings. Europe is naturally in Europe, located CPD, sensibilization and research. Because the historic building in Europe, form the core and the image of our identity, the image of our cities, and 10% of the building stock. We need to refurbish and renovate it to bring these buildings to EU energy efficiency standards. But we have to respect for the main feature and cultural value of a historic building. And our mainly strategies are low-tech with high performance. Upgrade the local building tradition to find the better solution to optimize and to respect the architectural diversity and the human needs. All architecture and planning elements of the project are part of a complex interactive system linked to their wider natural surrounding, and reflect heritage, culture, and social values of the day life of the community. In this context, two aspects are fundamentally natural ventilation and natural light. My desire and my conviction is that we will continue our fruitful collaboration with VELUX. Thank you for your attention.